the next thing we got to talk about is the DSA. Now, for those of you who don't know, the DSA are the Democratic Socialists of America, and there's a bunch of links in my description that you can go to that will show you how to actually, you know, contact them if they are in your local area so that you can actually get involved and help. I may not be able to get involved and help directly due to time constraints with running 4 channels and everything else that's needed to keep my life running, but I am going to send as many people to them as I humanly can in lieu of that.
I'm doing my part.
That said, we need to talk about fan art, and this one comes from Gid. Gid has given us a piece of fan art that I believe this was also submitted for the costume contest. Some of these are going to be ones that were submitted for the costume contest as well as this, but regardless, if it is, neat. That said, thank you very much, Gid. I appreciate it. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of that water bottle has a slime Suris in it. Do not drink that. That is corrupt shit. That will destroy your insides. You will literally fart blood. Do not drink that. Anywho, as always, thank you for your fan art submission. That said, we have to talk about this. Now, I've been wanting to talk about this video for a little while. I've been wanting to talk about this one for a bit, and I've not been able to because of everything else that's been going on. I mean, Mitch McConnell's been maybe dying. A really promising candidate in Maine might have been a rapist. Like, there's a lot of shit that has been going on lately that has taken priority over this, but we're finally able to get to this now. Progress, thank you for gifting 45 bits.
Every now and then politics gives you a tell, not a poll, not a policy paper, not spin, the truth.
Okay, I also have him sped up because I have to make sure that I've got enough time for Rhino, and I'm not going to be able to make sure that I can do all of my own things at the same time because he's a selfish lover. Socialists
are taking over the Democrat Party. Milot Kiros just knocked off a Democrat who's held this Colorado seat for 15 terms.
Good. You know that her taking a seat that's been held for 15 terms is not indicative of political affiliation, right?
Decades. And afterwards, she thanked her comrades.
I want you all, seriously, look at each other. Half of the people here are strangers to you all. Just months ago, you didn't know them. But now you have comrades. Yeah. You have friends in this movement, people that you know will fight for your rights just as much as you're gonna fight for them. That is solidarity. That is a movement.
Comrades, you know.
All right, dumbass. Hold on. Just real quick. What does the word comrade mean? A comrade is a trusted friend, companion, or fellow member of an organization. It is commonly used as a term to address socialists and other communists, as well as to reference soldiers in arms. The word literally translates to chambermate or roommate. This traces back to the Latin word camera, which means chamber or room. By the late 16th century, it was absorbed into Middle French as comrade, and then into English as a term for a close associate. Oh my god, they were comrades! They were roommates! Oh my god, they were comrades. Oh, that's great. But yeah, no, I'm just curious here. While yes, the term in common parlance gets used more around lefty circles, why are we scared of the fucking word comrade? Is that, are we trying to do socialist dog whistling now?
That's one of those words we don't exactly throw around in America. You don't hear it.
Yeah, we do. We do throw around the word comrade. We do, actually. Not as much as people in the military might, your comrades in arms, but no, we do actually use that word. It's a word that exists in the English language for a reason, because we use it.
At Little League games. You don't hear it at the Rotary Club. You don't hear it from your buddies when you show up for 18 holes of golf. It's a choice. And it's a choice according to the communist biggest streamer and cheerleader, Hassan Piker.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Mr. Whomever the fuck you are, Will Kane, did you just mention golf as a thing that everybody casually does? My guy, nobody has money for golf. Do you know how fucking expensive it is for golf to be your hobby? Sorry. I don't think most of the people who watch Fox News are golfing. I think most of the people who watch Fox News are playing with a tin can, more than anything.
Coming to your home.
I think progressive politics, left populism, a politics that centers the needs of the working class can work in every district, in every state. That's why I kept saying over and over again, it's coming to a city near you.
And as you weigh your choice, here's
what was wrong about what Hassan said there. Can you explain to me what he said there that's bad? Because I don't get it.
what they're selling.
We will not wait to take the fight to Donald Trump and the oligarchy. We will not wait.
I have a question. What is the difference between the statement, "We will take the fight to the oligarchy and we will drain the swamp"? What is the difference between the statement, "We will take the fight to the oligarchy and we will take the fight to the deep state"? Because from where I'm sitting, these are all variations of the same statement.
We will not wait to abolish ICE and pass Medicare for all. We will not wait to put an end to the politics of the past, to get big money out of our politics, and to reject corporate PACs at APAC. We will.
So, also, geez, Becky Dog, thank you for the $50 tip. Holy shit. Thank you. That's amazing. Also, the only thing in there that I think that they could hold any trouble with at all is the abolishing ICE. But I'm going to be honest, ICE was not a thing when I was born, and I'm okay with ICE not being a thing when I die. So, that was just a matter of opinion that I think is fine. Everything else, though, what's wrong with people having medical care? What's wrong with that? I don't get it.
Will not wait to end the genocide in Palestine.
Yeah, genocide's bad. What's wrong with not liking genocide?
It's as cute as air horns that Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries think these people are auditioning to become Democrats, that they're now part of a new big tent. These people are auditioning to take over Democrats and to own the tent.
Good. 100% good. I'm very, very tired of the Democrats of the past. I am very, very tired of the Chuck Schumers and the Fettermans. I'm very tired of having to look to Bernie Sanders and AOC as like some of the only examples of, yeah, we got some good people in here. I'm very fucking tired of that, my guy. I'm okay with us having some new blood in there. There's nothing fucking wrong with that.
Tent. Kiros telling Politico after her win, for decades, Democrats have failed to meaningfully deliver for working families.
Republicans would agree with that statement, by the way. It's only bad when a socialist says it. But if a Republican said, "For decades, Democrats have failed to meaningfully deliver for working families," they'd fucking cheer that shit on. Hootie Kitsune, thank you for the follow.
That includes, she added, not supporting House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries for Speaker. So once they own Democrats, the Democratic Socialists of America intend to own America. And how do I know that? We'll take a look over at the wall.
That's all politics. Politics is literally just two groups of people or multiple groups of people vying for power and thinking that they are the people who would be better to use that power from. Like that's all politics is. Politics is me and you disagreeing about a thing and then us wanting to do something about it. Politics as career is the something you want to do about it is having power. That's what it is. That's all it is. That's all it ever is. If you want to say that, like, oh, this is bad, well, okay, cool. The Republicans taking over the country would do the same thing. Fucking hell. Midnight Rider, thank you for the $2. Said more Weasel News, Red Scare propaganda. Yep.
The Democratic Socialists of America. What is their platform? What is it that they believe? Well, it's things that we've all heard. Medicare for all, college for all, housing for all, and doing all of that with a 32-hour work week. It's a virtual wish list on a college freshman dorm room.
So, is there any image on the internet, aside from this pause screen right here, that could better sell you on the DSA? Is there any image at all that could do that? Because this is probably the best, most ringing endorsement you could possibly have. 1, Fox News doesn't like them. Amazing endorsement. 10 out of 10. Just absolutely fantastic. Fuck Rupert Murdoch. Secondly, Medicare for all? Yeah, I'd love to not have to pay my fucking healthcare bills if I'm already paying taxes. College for all? Boy, howdy. When Saki and I went to go play Pokemon Go on a college campus last year, my heart palpitated with how much I wanted to actually, like, be on that campus doing things. The video game that I voiced in, Overton, I hoped that it would succeed. And I straight up told the person in charge of the entire game that if it succeeds and if I get enough money, the first thing I want to do is I want to use that to go to college. I want to use that so that I can go get that experience that I was never able to afford having, that I really want to be able to have. That's something that I want to have the time and the money to be able to do, but I can't. I love the end result of all of my autodidactory, but I would absolutely love being able to have a formal education and being able to fucking afford it and being able to have the time to do it if I could afford it. Housing for all. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, housing is really, really low, which means it's one of the most important things. By the way, before one of you comes in with your smarmy ass stupid shit of like, oh, no, Maslow's hierarchy of needs isn't actually real. I do not give a flying shit. I don't. I dealt with that shit for so many years whenever I would mention it on videos in my atheist content days. I ain't dealing with it anymore. I'm using it as a shorthand to talk about our needs as people, and it's a really easy shorthand most people understand. Fuck off. Sean Helfin says, I love the Green New Deal because I've been saying that for decades. Yeah, 32-hour work week, by the way? Fantastic. Do you want to know why a 32-hour work week sounds great to me? Like, more than anything? As we have more advances in technology that makes work more efficient, there is no reason why we should not be able to take more time off of that work. Also, remember, the 40-hour work week used to be seen as ludicrous, and now it's considered the norm. But also, a 32-hour work week, BT dubs, is what most people are forced to do. By making a 32-hour work week the norm, we do a couple of things. Really cool things. One, we make it where businesses can't use the 32-hour work week as a way to deny benefits to people, because that's what they're doing right now. That'd be great. Two, we'd be able to have people having more time to spend with their families. Fox News is all in on trying to make people homeschool, but they never want to actually give people the time to do it. Old Gus says Maslow's hierarchy of needs is based off of what things will kill you in how long. Yeah. Which means it's a perfectly good shorthand for people deserve house. Taxing the rich. I'm just curious, what's wrong with taxing the rich? If all of us have to be taxed, I feel like the person who gets hurt the least by the taxes should definitely be able to deal with the taxes. The Green New Deal. Yeah, you need to actually explain what the Green New Deal is for me to know if I should like it or hate it. But if it's anything like all the other things here, I'm great. And then Free Palestine. Genocide bad. I can only get so erect.
Pay for it by, of course, taxing the rich, and why don't we throw in the Green New Deal and Free Palestine along the way? But the DSA goes further. They are looking to, for example, in the U.S. war machine, fight...
Yeah, that's a good thing, actually. We need a standing military for defense, but we don't need to be a country that is operating off of back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back wars. But we are that country, so... I don't know, man. That seems perfectly fine. I think most military veterans would also be okay with the U.S. war machine ending because, you know, the likelihood of them having to go and getting a limb blown off goes down significantly. The likelihood of having to send their kids off to get their limbs blown off decreases significantly. Fighting mass incarceration and police brutality. Why do you want police brutality? Why are you okay with mass incarceration? That's the next conversation.
Mass incarceration and police brutality. Allow workers to migrate between countries. End all...
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with people who are objectively useful being able to take their skills where they would like?
All immigrant detention and deportations.
Yeah, I do not think that it should be a crime to want to live in ostensibly the richest, most prosperous, freest nation on the planet. In fact, I think that the more people who want to live there not only enrich us as a country, but I think it's an endearing quality as opposed to something to shit on.
Immediate amnesty social services for all immigrants.
That's just a follow-up from the last one. That's also fine.
And fully extending voting rights to criminals and non-citizens.
So, why would you want non-citizens voting? Well, I have a question. If you are not a citizen of the United States, but you are currently here for an extended amount of time, do the laws of the United States apply to you? If we hold the standard, which I do, that if the laws apply to you, then you should have some say in how those laws operate, then it would only make sense to allow people who are immigrants to vote because the laws apply to them. The laws apply to women, so women should be allowed to vote. The laws apply to black people, so black people should be allowed to vote. Maybe like at a 2/3 amount, but like they still should be able to, right? At least that was the original logic. Now that we remember that, you know, they're actually human beings, full vote. If the law applies to you, you should have a say in what the law is. Also, yeah, the idea of voting rights not being extended to felons has always been fucking stupid. If we can have a felon as a president, we should be allowed to have a felon vote. They are affected by the laws of the United States as well.
And yet, it even gets more radical.
Right. Okay. Sure. Also, I want to point out, that wasn't me saying, hey, I need somebody to explain the Green New Deal to me, though Dorito did, saying that it's proposed by AOC, promotes social justice, renewable energy, upgrading infrastructure, high quality of paid union jobs, affordable housing, healthcare, protected vulnerable areas, and environmental hazards. Understandable. What I'm saying is, he made it a point to not say what it was, because it's the usual Republican or usual like groupthink idea that if I say a thing that we all can smile and nod about being bad, that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to actually quantify the opinion.
With that power, here is your change. See,
okay, let's see what each of these are.
Statehood for Washington, D.C. Replace
statehood for Washington, D.C. Okay. What's wrong with that? Whether Washington is a state or not is largely an arbitrary thing that affects a handful of things in paperwork. But I will go ahead and say this. If you are a person in Washington, D.C., are you not in America? Are you not in a territory that we control? That should be a state. I also believe that anything else that we control should be a state. I'm sorry, this would be like us pissing and moaning about Hawaii becoming a state. Oh, wait, we did that. We did that.
the two-party system, expand that.
Replacing the two-party system. Yeah. Why do you want the two-party system? Just as an objective thing, real quick, I just want to ask you, do you believe that black or white are the only colors that exist? Moreover, do you believe that there are only two kinds of people in the world? Because I think people are complicated. I think people have a myriad of emotions in them. I think they've got a myriad of beliefs in them. I think that there should be a place for the socialists to be that is not the fucking Democratic Party, and I believe there should be a place for the Nazis to go that is not the fucking Republican Party. Because boy howdy, I'm tired of dealing with the Democrats specifically, and boy howdy, I'm tired of having to tell Republicans that their entire fucking group has been infiltrated by Nazis. Expanding the seats in the House, by the way, I'm ambivalent on that. I don't give a shit. Do it, whatever.
House, popular vote for president, and
why would you not want the popular vote for the president? Why would you not want the leader of the country to be the person who wins the popular vote? Oh, right, because historically, the Republicans almost always lose the popular vote and then only survive because they've got access to the Electoral College. There's only been one time in my lifetime that the popular vote has actually gone in favor of the Republican, and that's been this last one. And then limit the power of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court should have less power technically, because right now they have the power to grant power to the President of the United States. And I do not believe they should be allowed to consolidate that power. I think that is a bad idea, and it has proven to be a bad idea every time.
Limit the powers of the Supreme Court. And yet all of this that I have just shown you, it's nothing compared to their rhetoric, their words, their honesty about wanting to tear down America.
Okay, sure. Are you going to show me something to be horny about again?
We will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards.
This nation was founded on genocide and the mass displacement of people.
But it was. We displaced the natives. That's why we have special laws in regards to the natives.
We have to use every tool in the toolbox to make sure that we abolish ICE and keep our immigrant neighbors safe.
Was 9/11
What's wrong with keeping your neighbors safe, irrespective of how brown their skin is?
an inevitable consequence for America based on U.S. foreign policy?
Inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was the only response.
If you really want to talk,
Yeah, what's incorrect about that? We have been destabilizing the Middle East. It's been part of our war machine for a long time. Soft power to places that are not Iran, Afghanistan, et al., and then just destabilization for all of them, and then rhetoric that relies on them being an unstable region. Yeah, we've been doing that. What's wrong with that? Like, you literally, all that statement is saying that 9/11 had a cause. Can we all agree that all that statement is that there was a cause that led to the effect of 9/11? That feels reasonable. That feels like a reasonable thing. What? You're just selling me on them. You're just... The entire thing. The entire thing is just selling me on the DSA, my guy. You have not successfully turned me away from advocating for their organization. All you've done is convince me that advocacy for their organization is advocacy for helping my fellow man, and that's something that I'm totally into in, like, both a non-horny and a horny way. Just, you know, replace the man at the end with something else that tends to have tits, and then I'll be A-okay. Jassa says, my rep, it's been 2 weeks, but I'm still riding this high. Fucking hell yeah. Sean Helfin says, we're talking about Fox News. Fox News is not full of reason. It's full of madness and people dying of old age. Man, I wish it was full of more people dying of old age, because then we'd have less Fox News, you know, just per the pound. But, yeah, sorry, Will Kane, you haven't sold me against the DSA. In fact, you've actually sold me more on the DSA. Links in the description. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.